So imagine walking into a room full of strangers. Your hands are sweating.
Oh yeah, your mind just goes completely blank.
Exactly. You need to speak, and you need to speak in English, which is, a language you maybe just started learning. So what do you say? What is the one single subject that can actually save you in this incredibly stressful moment?
Most people would probably guess asking about jobs.
Right. But surprisingly, it is not saying hello. It is not talking about your job. It is literally just looking up and talking about the clouds.
I mean, it sounds almost too simple. We often think that learning a language means learning these big, complicated words for business or travel. But the most powerful tool you can have is just the ability to talk about the simple air around you. It gives you a shared language with literally every person you meet.
It really does. And today, our mission is to explore a transcript from an English learning audio lesson. And this lesson is all about talking about the weather.
Which is perfect for beginners.
Yeah, absolutely. But we are not just going to give you a list of vocabulary words to memorize. We are going to look at the hidden rules of English culture.
The sociology of it, really.
Right. We will discover how English speakers use the sky to make friends. So whether you are prepping for your very first English conversation or you just want to sound more natural, mastering this topic is essential.
It really is a survival skill.
Okay, let's unpack this, because it is a really funny thought. The most common everyday topic, the weather, is actually a critical tool for mastering a new language.
The lesson we're looking at today shows us something really important. The weather isn't just meteorology. It is not just about rain or sun.
Right.
It is a foundational social tool. Before you learn any new words, you need to understand why people talk about this specific topic so much.
Yeah, why do we do it? Because our notes explain that the weather is universal. And universal means everyone, everywhere experiences it.
We all share it.
Exactly. If you and I are in the same town, we share the exact same sky. Because of this shared sky, talking about the weather is the safest way to start a conversation with a stranger.
Safest is definitely the most important word there. I mean, think about meeting someone new. There's always a little bit of stress.
Oh, always.
You do not know if they are friendly. They do not know if you are friendly. So in English, we use small talk to fix this.
Which is just light, easy conversation, nothing too serious.
Exactly. And the weather is the absolute king of small talk.
It is like a bridge. It connects two strangers and helps them feel comfortable. Like, let's imagine you are standing in a really long line at the grocery store.
The worst.
Right. You are standing next to a stranger for 10 minutes. And the silence feels heavy. You cannot ask a stranger for their life secrets.
No, you definitely cannot do that.
You can't look at them and say, well, tell me your deepest fears.
But that would be terrifying.
But you can comment on the cold. You can say, it is very cold today, isn't it? But this makes me wonder, if you're at a grocery store, you can't ask a stranger for their life secrets, but you can comment on the cold. Is weather talk really just a way to test the social waters?
What's fascinating here is the social rule that is hidden inside this test. Yes, it is a test, but it is a test to build immediate shared consensus.
Consensus, like agreement.
Right. When you talk about the weather, you want the other person to agree with you. You want to prove that you both see the same world. You are saying, I feel the cold, do you?
And when they say yes, you have made a tiny connection.
Exactly. But there is a huge warning in our source about this rule. You have to be careful.
Oh yeah, the grumpy warning.
Yes. Let's say you are having a terrible day. You feel angry.
Yeah.
But you look outside, and it is a beautiful, bright, sunny day. The birds are singing.
A perfect day.
If you look at a stranger and say, it is terrible out there today, you are going to really confuse them.
You risked alienating people completely.
Because you broke the hidden rule. The rule is that you must agree on the reality. You use the weather to build a positive connection. If the day is beautiful, you must agree that it is beautiful.
Right. If you complain about a perfect sunny day, people will think you are just a negative person.
Fail the test.
So we establish a baseline. We agree that it is cold, or we agree that it is warm. Once we build that small bridge, we feel safe.
And then maybe we can move on to other topics.
Right. Now that we understand the social utility of weather talk, let's transition into the specific descriptive words provided in the source. Because these words do not just describe the sky.
No, they map directly to human emotions.
Yeah, let's break down some of the adjectives from the lesson. An adjective is just a describing word. We have clear, sunny, gloomy, and overcast.
Overcast is a really interesting one.
Let's actually stop and define overcast for a minute. When an English speaker says it is overcast, the lesson specifically defines it as a sky completely covered by clouds.
Right, like a heavy gray blanket.
Exactly. It's that tense feeling before the rain begins. It is almost a way of saying, maybe we should stay home today.
And you can see how these words divide our feelings. Take the word sunny. The notes explain that the sun provides vitamin D. It gives the world colorfulness.
It gives people energy for outdoor activities. The lesson mentions things like going for a running or washing the car.
The sun almost makes you feel like a different person.
You feel awake. But then the weather changes. We get rainy days. And the lesson notes that for many people, rain can be depressing.
It brings the mood down. People use the word gloomy. Gloomy just means dark, gray, and sad.
But the lesson also introduces a dual nature to rain, because rain can also be cozy.
Cozy is such a great English word.
I love it. The source defines cozy with exact parameters. It means feeling warm, comfortable, and safe inside. Imagine you have a hot cup of tea and a good book.
You're completely protected.
Right. Outside, the wind is blowing. It is chilly. But inside, you are safe. But wait, I want to push back on this a little bit. Wait, so is bad weather actually a requirement for feeling cozy?
That is a really great question. And based on how English speakers use the word yes, bad weather is usually a requirement for true coziness.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you need the dark and the cold outside to appreciate the warm and the light inside. If it is sunny and hot outside, sitting inside with a heavy blanket and hot tea just feels terrible.
Well, you would just be sweaty.
Exactly. The English language uses weather to create contrasting emotional environments. The physical discomfort outside actually enhances the psychological comfort inside.
Wow, that makes perfect sense. The bad weather builds the emotional room we live in. But of course, the lesson also contrasts this with the negative side of rain.
Because cozy only works if you are inside.
Right. If you are outside, it is not cozy at all. The lesson teaches us the word soaked, which means getting very, very wet.
Like if you forget your umbrella.
Exactly. Water in your shoes, water in your hair. But the source describes the absolute worst-case scenario. Imagine you're walking down the sidewalk in the rain.
Trying to stay dry.
Right. And suddenly, a car drives past you very fast, right through a huge puddle, and it splashes you.
While getting splashed by a car is the absolute worst.
You are suddenly covered in cold, dirty street water. It's a nightmare.
It really is. And it shows why we use weather to describe our feelings so often. It's a huge force that we just cannot control.
So we have covered daily weather and mood. But having explored that, the deep dive now zooms out chronologically to explore the changing of the 4 seasons.
Because English vocabulary adapts to the seasons too.
Yes, let's detail the specific characteristics of the swans as they are presented in the source. First, we have autumn.
Also called fall.
Right. The lesson calls autumn poetic. The main word here is crisp. The air is crisp. It's not hot, but it's not freezing yet either.
It's like biting into a cold apple.
That's a great way to describe it, and you can see the leaves on the trees turning orange and red.
It's a very visually beautiful season.
Then we move into spring. The lesson describes spring as the world waking up from a long sleep.
Right, and the most important vocabulary word there is bloom.
Flowers bloom, which just means they open up and show their colors.
Very gentle, positive vocabulary.
And then we get to winter. Initially, the lesson notes that winter is magical. It is quiet and white. You think of snowmen and skiing.
But that white magic does not last very long in the real world.
No, it definitely does not. Here's where it gets really interesting. The notes introduce a very specific word, slush.
Oh, slush.
Slush is what happens to that beautiful snow after a few days. It becomes a dirty, melting mess on the ground. It is messy and slippery.
It ruins your shoes.
Exactly. I want to highlight this word because this is so practical. Language learning often focuses on the magical, pretty words like bloom. But slush is the gritty, messy reality of winter that a beginner actually needs to know.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the source perfectly balances these concepts. It gives you the romanticized seasonal concepts, but also highly practical, realistic vocabulary.
Because complaining about slush to your coworkers is amazing small talk.
It is the best small talk.
Finally, we have summer. Great for the beach, but plagued by a very specific word from the lesson, humid.
Humid air is so tough.
It is. Humid air is heavy and wet. It makes you feel tired and sweaty. In fact, the lesson notes a really funny preference. People usually prefer a heat wave over a blizzard.
Right. A heat wave being just very hot, dry weather.
And a blizzard being a massive snowstorm. Even with the terrible humidity, people would rather have the heat wave.
Which really tells you a lot about how much people hate the cold.
Yeah, it does. So we've covered literal weather and seasons. Now we're going to explore how these concepts are so deeply ingrained in the culture that they have become metaphors.
Idioms.
Right, idioms. Words that use weather to mean something completely different. The lesson provides 5 specific idioms. Let's define them. The first is under the weather.
Which just means feeling a bit sick, like maybe you have a headache or a small cold.
Right. So what does this all mean? Like, if an English learner hears under the weather, how do they know the person isn't just standing under a literal cloud?
It is a fair question. Idioms are tough for beginners, but you have to look at the mechanics of it. The language is using the heavy, sad feeling of bad weather to describe the body.
Like the gloomy rain we talked about?
Exactly. It feels like the bad weather is inside them.
That makes total sense. The second idiom is a breeze. If a task is a breeze, it means it is very easy.
Because a real breeze is a light, soft wind. It takes no effort.
Then we have a fun one, raining cats and dogs.
This paints quite a picture.
It means it is raining very heavily. Now, native speakers don't say this every single day, but it is great to know.
Right, it describes total chaos.
The fourth idiom is to break the ice. This means to start a conversation and make people feel relaxed.
Which is so fitting. It brings our entire conversation full circle right back to segment 1.
Using the weather to melt away the social awkwardness with strangers?
Exactly. You use the small talk to break that cold, awkward ice.
I love that. And the final idiom from the text is whirlwind. A real whirlwind is a fast storm. But as an idiom, it means a lot of information presented very quickly.
The source actually uses it as a pun in its conclusion.
Right, because trying to learn all these words at once can feel like a whirlwind. Your head spins from so much information.
It really can.
Well, we have certainly been through a whirlwind today. To bring this deep dive to a close, the weather is clearly more than just vocabulary. It's the key to making friends and sounding natural in English.
It really is the ultimate social tool.
It is. And before we go, I want to directly pass on the homework from the source material to you, the listener. Look out your window right now.
I know.
Is it sunny, cloudy, windy, or rainy? Practice describing your sky in one simple sentence. Just say it out loud.
It is the best way to practice.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. Mastering these fundamental concepts is a breeze if you just keep practicing.
Before we sign off, I want to leave you with a final lingering idea based on the source's themes.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
The source calls weather the king of small talk because everyone experiences it, right?
Yeah.
We share the same sky. But in our modern world, where we connect globally through screens and podcasts, we don't share the same sky anymore.
Oh, wow.
If the weather outside your window is completely different from the weather outside your new friend's window, does talking about the weather still break the ice? Or does it emphasize how far apart we really are?
That is a fascinating point. It really makes you think about how language has to adapt to technology. Well, something for you all to mull over. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.